Hello, I'm Matt, aka the Sire OG, and welcome to my thoughts on The Planet Crafter. I think this title is one of the freshest entries into its genre for years, and I'd like to tell you why. Now, this game is in early access, and I jumped into it during the Fish and Drones update in March of 2023. My playthrough took me about 35 hours to complete, and I reckon I interacted with around 95% of all the content thus far. Light early game spoilers will be present in this review, however I won't talk about anything mid to late game, so rest assured that this will not dampen your own experience if you decide to give it a go for the first time. The only footage that I'll sample in this video will be from around the first 4 hours of my playthrough. You begin your journey in a drop pod, having recently landed in a harsh, arid environment. Visibility is low and you're given some supplies that allow you to survive your first few minutes. At this point the game gives you a nudge in the form of the first steps up in the top left. This serves as a tutorial. This taught me the basics of resource collection and building. In the bottom left you have your standard survival metrics. Health, thirst and oxygen, and it's up to you to make sure that these don't deplete. This is pretty standard survival game stuff so far. By the way, optional difficulty can be found in the settings menu when starting a new game. Don't worry, this review is not a tutorial to the game, this is just to set up the rest. Your goal is to terraform this planet. And I mean properly terraform. This is achieved by building a variety of machines which generate pressure, heat, and oxygen, along with various forms of power generation. These contribute together to grow the main progression in the game, the Terraformation Index. Throughout the game this is referred to as the TI and can be found up in the top right. The science on display here doesn't make, well, any sense whatsoever, but it's a video game. Blueprints for new technology, machines and buildings are unlocked as you progress through the TI, and additional blueprints can be found in various locations around the game. Such as this spaceship wreck, conveniently placed on the top of this hill, visible from the starting location. Recipes for later materials and tech will require materials that you will not find in your immediate surroundings. And that leads us into what I believe to be one of the core design pillars of this game: exploration and discovery. Yes, one of the reasons I'm not going to spoil any of the later stages or tech or unlocks or anything is precisely this. A huge portion of the fun here comes from discovering, learning and experimenting. And yet, despite exploration being such an integral part of the experience, this game does not feature a traditional map for players to carry around with them and reference in the wild. Instead, the game provides you with visually distinct areas and landmarks that help you find your way. These are further complemented by coordinates you'll find down in the bottom left, and a craftable compass that sits up on the top of the screen. This game features no combat whatsoever, and there aren't really any environmental hazards either. Realistically, the only things that are going to kill you are your survival metrics and fall damage, both of which are easily mitigated and easy to manage. This means when playing the game, you are very unlikely to get lost, and nothing out there wants to eat you. This takes the anxiety out of exploration. The only surprises this game greets you with are positive ones. You are not here to fight, you are here to build. What this means is that you're not playing a crafting game that challenges you to survive, you're playing a crafting game that encourages you to thrive. The game doesn't punish the player for experimenting. In fact, you can deconstruct anything you build with no cost to resources. Anything you invest in a machine you can get straight back if you change your mind. This means that everything you collect can be played with, repurposed or recycled into anything you see fit. Ultimately, these mechanics all work together to form another design pillar of this game: change. Your actions have vast, tangible and drastic changes on the environment. I have never seen anything quite like this in a video game, certainly not to this scale. It is exciting to watch your machines actively, but not quickly, tame the weather. It is enthralling to watch the sky clear and turn blue and fill your screen with colour. This direct feedback translates into a feeling of accomplishment, like your actions make a genuine difference. And they do! The world design is well thought out. The locations in the world are laid out in a way that promotes a calm pace of exploration. And if you are thorough in your searches of new areas, there are plenty of extra goodies to be had. If you choose the default starting location, which I recommend, then you will come across new locations that provide new resources required for new recipes just as you start to require them. This inspires feelings of competence and ability because you are never stopped in your tracks. Choosing other starting locations can provide extra challenge to the player. However, if this is your first time playing, you might find yourself scratching your head because you're doing things out of the intended order and you'll have no idea what to do. As a side note to that, I recommend building the communications equipment as soon as you can because this can help provide extra feedback to the player if they get a bit stuck. It's a nice feature, it's not required for every player. I didn't actually build it until it was far too late and it offered me nothing. Now, I won't spoil any of it, but I can confirm there is some story and some lore to this game. I quite liked it. I thought it fit the tone of solitary wonder quite well, but it's not the main focus of the game, so it's present, but don't expect much. At the time of this recording, this game is a single-player only title, which, given the fact that it's made by 2 people, fair enough. However, I think this would be a really fun game for a small group of friends to enjoy together, so hopefully in a new update. This game is in early access, so sadly there are some bugs present, but I didn't find too many. Mostly we're talking clipping through objects, some lighting bugs and pop-in. Performance, generally speaking, great across the board. There are some exceptions to this. For example, if you have too many machines or buildings in one area, it can start to drop frames. The good news is, power in this game is entirely wireless, and it applies to every single one of your machines on the planet, so feel free to space them out appropriately to keep performance smooth. There was an area towards the late game that tanked my performance pretty harshly, but that was an isolated issue. It's not bad for my 8700K processor, because that's getting on a bit now. Though, admittedly, I did expect a little bit more out of my RTX 3070. To counter myself, I was recording and playing on the same system, so could be a factor. Price-wise, this game is a bargain for £15. Honestly. There is a lot of content to get through, which for me worked out to be around, 50 pence per hour of highly engaging gameplay. Early access games tend to go up in price the further they are into development, and definitely more when they release out of early access. So if you're interested in playing, this is a great time to jump in. So, in conclusion then, I think this game is fantastic. It gripped me from start to finish. I've played a lot of survival games over the years, and I genuinely consider this to be a new gold standard for the genre. I'd like to congratulate the devs, Miju Games. 2 people made this. It's a fantastic game already, and they're not even finished with it. If you'd like to see more of the game, or if you'd like to see my journey through it, so you could see how I came to these conclusions, click there. I'm not really a fan of review scores, so I won't be doing that. However, this is definitely a recommend from me. Right, that's more than enough waffling from me. Thank you very much for watching and listening to me. Please feel free to leave a comment if you had your own thoughts about the game. I'd love to read them. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to me if you want to see more, and I will catch you on the next one. 24 of you. Wait. Oh no! During my interrogation of this poor chatbot, I actually came up with an idea. What if I asked ChatGPT how I should market my video? Immediately, the stack disappeared. Oh!